Hi, Empress Justice here, and greetings from Brighton. I didn't think I was going to be doing a reading today, but something told me that I needed to. Quite frankly, the sun is up, the sun is shining outside, it's glorious. I thought, what a time to do a reading. And as for this thing on my head, yes, my hair needs to be covered sometimes because, you know, it's one of those things. So you're just going to have to get used to that for this particular reading. Now, I was going to do a rant and a reading, but to be quite honest with you, I'm thinking that maybe it would be better for me if I did a pick a card instead, because I haven't done that in a minute. So I thought maybe just do a pick a card and see how that turns out. Now, the pick a card that I'm going to be doing today is something that I've been talking about throughout this entire month. The theme that I've been talking about throughout this entire month is basically living out your dreams and overcoming your obstacles by focusing on the most vulnerable and marginalized people in your community. But in order for you to do that, you'd have to know who your community is. Who are your peoples, basically? What kind of clique do you belong into? What kind of subgroup do you belong into? Who are your people, essentially? So that's what the pick a card is today. Title of this video is Who Are Your People? Pick a card, and there are 4 options. So we've got pile 1, which is this stone right here. I'll give you a few seconds to look at that. If it resonates with you, then pick this one. And then we have pile 2. Once again, I'll give you a few seconds. And then we have pile 3. And then finally, we have pile 4. Let me see it. Let me just move that out of the way so you can get a clear view of it. Okay. So, with those 4 options called, I'm going to get on with the reading right now. And I'm going to start with pile 1. Okay. Pile 1, this is for you. Let's see what we have in store for you today. Now, who are your people? And I'm going to start with the tarot cards first, okay? So, the first card is the High Priestess. The second card is the World card for the tarot. And the third card is the Hermit. Now, I'm going to read all of these. Okay? So for successful completion, that's what we call the World card in the Guardian Angel Tarot deck. It says this. This is a time of incredible accomplishment. You're justified in feeling joy, a sense of completion, and pride in the amazing job you've done. You've been blessed with many spiritual insights. Soon you'll begin a new journey, but for now, take time to bask in the happiness of your dreams come true. And for the Hermit card, we have this. Take time for contemplation, to retreat and go within. Be a beacon for others on their path to spiritual enlightenment. Now, in terms of who your community are, I'm getting one of 2 things here. Either you are an intellect or a learned person who's surrounded by other learned people, or you may be a loner who is surrounded by people who are expert in fields that you're the opposite in. For example, if you are, you know, a bookworm of sorts, you might have friends who are more sporty, more outgoing to balance you out. That's Spirit's way of balancing you out. So your people are either very focused on learning and studying and research like you are, or they could be the complete opposite to you, in terms of helping you to become more social, helping you to become more open, helping you to connect with other people. So it's one of the two, right? But you as a person, pile one, you are very intelligent in like a broad sense. You're not just intelligent, you know, emotionally or academically, or, you know, it's not one or the other. You're broadly intelligent in a wide range of different things. And the reason for that is because what you're most interested in is information and knowledge that stands the test of time. You're not interested in fads. You're not interested in what people are interested in the moment. Your interest is in getting to the truth, getting to the root of everything, so that you can discover knowledge that can survive any political change, any life change, whatever has stood the test of time. Those are the kind of subject matters, that's the kind of knowledge that you will study and that you will look into. And again, it's either you will have people like yourself who are just as intent on eternal wisdom, or, you know, or timeless knowledge, or you will have people who are more ahead of the current, kind of, who are a bit more, who are a bit sportier, who are a bit like, you know, less cerebral than you are, right? So the point of that is to, if those are your friends, if your friends are less cerebral than you, are more sporty and more outgoing, their purpose in your life is to actually help you become more acclimatized to the world around you, rather than being in your own head all the time. Okay. Now, when it comes to these things right here, these are your advice cards. These are the oracle cards. And I actually got two. I was supposed to get one, but I got two for this, because it seems like what it's time for is for you to actually put your knowledge into action now. There are some of you who have been really gathering information, processing it and then reprocessing it. Now is the time to put it into action, to put this timeless wisdom that you've gathered into action. And that's what these advice cards are. Now, again, this could be talking about your clique, if you're the sole intellectual one out of all your friends, or it could be talking about how you in particular can branch out and balance your life if you are within a group of intellectuals. Okay, so first of all is, yes, dear Archangel Raphael, help me trust my feelings as the accurate barometer of truth. So again, either you or you and your clique tend to be very cerebral, and some of you might be a bit out of touch with your emotions, pile one. Some of you might be out of touch with what makes you who you are emotionally as well as mentally, because actually emotionally is more important than what's up here. Emotions tend to be actually more reliable than your logic sometimes, because your feelings will tell you where you need to go. Your mind's purpose is in telling you how you need to get there. Sometimes we prioritize the servant and forget the gift. Your gift is here. It's one thing to understand timeless information from a cerebral perspective or by reading books and things like that. It's one thing to do that, but it's another thing to follow what's in here and to understand what's in here. So I'm just thinking, you know what, you'll probably be able to see it in the video, but I can't see very well on the phone, pile one. Sorry, excuse me. 1 second. Okay. Sorry, pile one, 1 second. Okay, so I can see a little bit better now, pile one. Okay, so this is a reminder that you need to trust your heart, and that you need to put yourselves in situations where you can really feel who you are, not just think about it, but feel who you are. Okay, so being more connected with your feelings, being a bit more positive, because some of you can be it's easy to be kind of cynical when you're more academically focused. It's easy to be cynical and it's easy to be less trusting of feelings, but you need to be more trusting of your feelings and you need to be more positive. Pile 1. I'm not going to hold you, okay? The second card that I got is exercise is key. Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for motivating me and guiding me to an exercise program that fits my schedule, interests and budget. Again, there are some of you pile 1s who are an intellectual person in a sea of jocks, right? Not all of you pile 1, but some of you. And regardless of whatever social circle you find yourself in, whether you're around intellects like yourself or whether you're around jocks, you do need to incorporate more physical activity and more outdoor experiences into your life. I know, guilty as charged, I'm one of them too. You need to incorporate more outdoors activities into your life on some real stuff. You know, in order for you to not actually take away from everything that you've learned, but to actually add to what you've learned. Speaking as somebody who likes to exercise occasionally, it really does do something for your, not only your mental health, but your ability to think. You'd be surprised at how much exercise and how much going outdoors and meeting people can really get the brain working. You know, it can really get the brain working. It can really get, it can get the brain working, you know. And that's where, you know, from what I've experienced, pile 1, that's where you tend to get a bit quiet. When you've had a lot of information to take in, you tend to be a bit quieter because your brain needs the time to take it all in and process it. But anyway, that's for another time. So this is interesting. We've got dreams of abundance. This is from the Angels of Abundance Oracle card deck, right? As you sleep, God, your angels, and your higher self are giving you divinely guided ideas, answers, and solutions. Be sure to record your dreams in a journal because they contain valuable insights that will help you manifest your desires into reality. So what we're really talking about here, let's be absolutely real. What we're talking about here is the pituitary gland. What we're talking about here is the third eye. This is the thing about sunlight, exercise, and sleep. When you exercise a lot, you tend to go into deeper sleeps more easily. This is from what I've experienced. When you have more physical activity, your sleeping patterns are more leveled out. Your sleeping patterns are more leveled out. And when they're more leveled out, you get better sleep. And when you get better sleep, you get more lucid dreams. I feel like you need to make more time for your emotions, to get out into the world and connect, but also to use more of your imagination. Okay? I get that there's nothing new under the sun. And I get that because there are so many stories and so much information and so much, you know, so much is out there, it makes you feel like even if you wanted to do something creative, you couldn't, because there's just so much information and so many ideas out there already. How could you possibly add to what's already out there? My suggestion is to not doubt yourself for 1 second. If you need to write the book, write it. If you need to draw a picture, draw it. If you need to paint, paint. Do whatever it is that you need to do creatively to express what's in you. And if you can't do that, write a journal, something. Because this isn't just about your night dreams, which is important to record. It's also about your daydreams, which is important for you to express. You'd be surprised at what you're able to manifest when you actually create what's in your mind, or you create what you want to see in the world. The creative world can become a mirror of your true internal state. And once you start creating, it's kind of interesting to see whatever is in your subconscious is locked. It's an interesting process to go through. So it seems to me, Pile 1, that you are within a community of people who are either intellects who are more focused on timeless principles and timeless wisdom, or you could be the eternal intellect in a sea of jocks, and you need to learn from the jocks because they hold the key towards you magnifying your power as an intelligent and wise and academic person. Do you understand what I mean? So yeah, that's it for pile 1. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments if that resonated with you. And now we're going to move on to pile 2. If I can find the rest of the piles. Here they are. Okay. Pile 2. Who are your community? Pile 2. And baby, we got a doozy here. We got a doozy right here. I'm going to focus on the tarot cards first. Okay. And then I'm going to focus on the advisory cards. So first we've got the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, who are your community? The 10 of Pentacles. And then we've got Healer of Action, which is the Queen of Wands in the Guardian Angel Tarot. And then we've got the Chariot. Now, when it comes to the Healer of Action, it says this is a time when you can do whatever you set your mind to if your heart is open. I'm sorry, I need my water. Pile 2, sorry. Oh, I need my water. Oof. Oh, okay, pile 2. So this is a time when you can do whatever you set your mind to if your heart is open. You're being asked to do many things at once. You won't mind as long as you know you're making a difference. This card indicates someone who's loving, intelligent, passionate, and fun, which could definitely describe you. And in this case, it can describe your community as well. This person can handle difficult situations with grace. Yep, your community. And we're quite on theme here because we've got the Chariot as well. So pile 2, we have Arabian Horse. You can successfully balance various or opposing energies at once through determination and focus. You've earned the rewards and recognition you're receiving. So your community, they could be extensions of your family. Now, a lot of people who are second generation British, like me, can relate to what I'm saying, even first generation British. Where I come from a very community-based culture. And what that means is that, first of all, we have a lot of relations. That's the first thing. We have a lot of cousins. Second of all, is that even without the cousins, everybody pretty much knows each other. Pile 2, if this is you, you come from a community of people that you have long-standing ties to, where everybody knows each other. And it's not even just the clique you come from, it's the clique that you belong in, because that's the point of these picker cards, is to find where you belong. And you belong with the group of people that you've grown up with from the time you were small. Those are the people that you belong with. And these particular people, pile 2, you might come from a very ambitious family. You might come from a very ambitious family, or you might have had old friends that you grew up with, and you were all very ambitious people. You were all the kind of people who were go-getters, who wanted to make your dreams come true, who wanted to make things happen, and you're still like that. Do you understand what I mean? And you might find your own unique way of doing it, but make no mistake, but where you belong, who your community are people who have close ties to your ancestral lineage, and they could be very, very ambitious people that come from a similar background to you. They can be very ambitious people, very stoic, go-getting people. I'm not saying they don't know how to have fun, because the Queen of Wands is here, and the Queen of Wands is all about pleasure. It's all about turning your passion into something that you want to do in life. So these people are not without passion, they're not without enjoyment, but they're very practical and very go-getting. It's all about action. It's all about go, 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 go. You understand? So that's what it's all about. That's what your community is. That's a community that you belong to. Okay? And let's see. Interesting. So for the advisory cards, we've got use your natural healing abilities. Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for clearly guiding, encouraging, and supporting my healing work. I'll figure what all that is in a minute. I'll get to all that in a minute. And we've got focus on your priorities. Where you put your focus is where you receive your outcome. Your priorities are calling to you, which may produce a feeling of anxiety unless you give them the time and attention they and you deserve. Even a small amount of time devoted to your priorities will help you feel better and more confident. So what are your priorities? Well, this is talking about healing. And this is talking about priorities. It seems like, I'm going to be honest, right? The community that you come from, they're in good health. Do you understand what I mean? And I feel like either some of you are not in good health or you are in good health, and the people that you need to look out for are not so much, right? I really feel like this has to do with, you know, something that might not actually be your fault. You might actually have a relatively decent lifestyle. It's just that your genetics kind of betrayed you. And now you have to figure out how you're going to navigate your health issues. That could be one possibility, pile two. Another possibility is that you might actually be very healthy, but there's somebody who is more vulnerable within your community health-wise, okay, that you might need to take care of or look after. So those are where the priorities are. It's either you that needs healing or somebody else that needs healing. And it's got nothing to do with your lifestyle. You know, and I know how it sounds. It may have nothing to do with how you actually live your life. And it may have everything to do with genetics. Because I'm getting that a lot of you, pile two, the people of pile two, I'm getting that you're not health freaks, but you're very, very healthy. And you take care of yourselves very, very well. Is what I'm getting, pile two. So yes, you come from a community of go-getters. Everybody knows each other. Everybody knows each other. Everybody gets together, talks about things, this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, you have goals, you have dreams. You're doing the damn thing, but your genetics, the genetics of either pile two or the community that pile two comes from, somebody within that community playing up. And that's where extra support, extra emotional support and practical support is needed. But if you come from pile two, then when somebody needs help with their health, you're actually perfect for that. Because you're focused on action. You're not focused on just commiserating with a person. Like when somebody's in trouble, you will leap into action. You will leap into go-getting. You will leap into, okay, what does this person need right now? And you will go about getting it. That's the most helpful thing that you can do right now. If it's somebody else who's sick. Even if it's you who's sick. But yes, your community, a bunch of go-getters. And again, you're not sticks in the mud. You're not sticks in the mud. You have things that you're passionate about, that you're dedicating your lives to. And you are making, some of you are making a good amount of money from it. So no, you're not, in pile two, you are not resting on your laurels at all. You are very, you're very active in what you want to do. So let's see what else I can get for pile two. I feel like some of you need more rest. I feel like some of you need to rest up. But I think that's about it. I think those of you who are healthy and those of you who are relatively okay, you might need to rest up a bit. Yeah, I think that's it. So that was for pile 2. That's you guys right here. Thank you for joining me for this reading. Let me know in the comments whether or not that reading resonated with you. And now we come to pile 3. Okay. Now, let's see. Okay, Tarot, separated Tarot. Now this is interesting. This is interesting. Okay. Bear with me 1 second, pile 3. First of all, I'll choose this one first because this is the Devil card and the Guardian Angel Tarot cards. This is a very gentle Tarot deck. So they're not about to have anything representing a devil up in here, okay? But that's the Devil card. Choose freedom is what it's called, because the devil is usually associated with bondage. But this is where it gets interesting, because you've got 2 3 of Wands here. You've got the 3 of Wands and you've got the 3 of Spring, which is the 3 of Wands again. So you've got 2 of these. Interesting. What does that say about the community that you come from? Let's read the cards and find out. So pile 3 for choose freedom. Sometimes you may feel as though your way is blocked, but often that's just an illusion. You could free yourself from the obstacles that you're so focused on by choosing a different path. Turn your thoughts away from negativity and instead envision endless other possibilities you might act upon. Something tells me you and the community that you belong to already do that. But let me continue. Stop to take the time to review and make long-term plans capitalizing upon your past successes. It's appropriate to pat yourself on the back for all your accomplishments, but you may also need patience for the next phase to play out. I feel like the community that you come from or the community that you belong to, pile 3, are the type of people that might be held back physically by illnesses, like maybe physical illness or mental illness. But instead of letting that trap you, you still have dreams that you want to work towards. And instead of allowing your illness to be an excuse to hold yourself back, you instead focus on, what do I want and how does my health play into that? How does my current circumstance play into achieving what I want to achieve? How does my current circumstance play into that? You could be a targeted individual like me. You could be physically ill. You could be mentally ill. You could be, I don't know, in a less than ideal relationship. You could be in a less than ideal job. But again, instead of feeling like you're trapped by your circumstances, your mind is constantly on the future and your mind is constantly on plan A, right? I used to have a mind like this when I was younger. Whenever I was thinking about what I wanted, I would often think about how my physical or mental illnesses would play into that. And this is something that when you take it seriously enough, it actually paves ways for you that you didn't really think were possible. When you become your sickness, you find your way through the sickness, and the community that you belong to knows that all too well, pile 3. You're the type of person who is very, very resilient, and you're around other people who are very, very resilient, or friends with people who are very, very resilient, who are cut from the same cloth. They're very much like, I'm determined to make it. I'm determined to get what I want. And yes, I have flaws and yes, I have weaknesses, but I can turn them into strengths. And that's what you do. That's what you do. It's an incredibly powerful and positive mindset. And you're not where you want to be. A lot of you are not where you want to be, a pile 3, but you're where you need to be. And there's a great recognition of that. And you're the type of people who will help each other remember that. Okay. Now, when it comes to the advisory cards, we've got acceptance. Dear God and Archangel Raphael, please help me accept everything is going in the right direction. Okay. And then we've got let go of guilt. When you allow your light to shine brightly, you inspire others. Forgive yourself for what you think you've done or not done, and trust that God loves you unconditionally for who you are. Learn and grow from past mistakes instead of berating yourself for them. Do you remember when I said that you often work yourself around your weaknesses? It doesn't just include your past. No. It doesn't just include your physical and mental health issues. It also includes your past, what you did in the past, who you were in the past. You also prepare your future for whatever comes out about your past, or however your past affects what's going on right now. What it seems like this is saying is that don't focus too much on the plan B. Focus on the plan A. Focus on how you want to feel when your goals are achieved. Okay? And whatever it is that you want to feel, that's what you attract when you focus on it. And I know it sounds trite. I know it sounds like I'm just kind of glossing this over with some secret nonsense. But truth be told, when you focus on your humiliation and your pain, and you focus on trying to overcome that, what you end up doing is you just like keep attracting more of the same to overcome. Like, for example, there are people who always need to feel like they're in control of situations. There are people who need to feel like they're always in control, that they're always running shit. But what happens? What happens is that they end up in situations where they have to run shit. Otherwise, everything goes wrong. Do you understand what I mean? When you constantly feel the need for control, you will constantly put yourself in situations where you're surrounded by people who will falter if you don't take control of the situation. And that's not something that you want. You want to attract a feeling, not a situation. How do you want to feel in your life? However it is that you want to feel, it will evoke visualizations in your mind. And once those visualizations in your mind are evoked, that's when you'll have a clearer idea of what your goals actually are. Right now, you and your community are revolved around mitigating negativity rather than embracing positivity. Okay? And truth be told, I'm going to be real with you. It's not getting in the way of your dreams. The way that you're thinking and the way that you're processing things, it's not preventing you from your dreams at all. In fact, it's helping you. What you're doing is helping you. And I'll tell you why. Because when you hear about The Secret, you hear about the need to remain positive and remain grounded and remain, all this type of stuff. Remain positive. Don't think about anything negative. But sometimes when you're dealing with situations that are less than ideal, it's like you're not being allowed to feel the negativity that comes with it at all. You're not allowed to, it feels like you're not allowed to feel anything negative. So what happens is that when you suppress your negativity, it keeps clawing at you and clawing at you and clawing at you, scraping at the door. Nicolas Cage, scraping at the door. Okay? It keeps scraping at the door, and then sooner or later it busts through the door. So all this positive thinking that you were trying to get yourself to feel, now it's backfired because you suppressed and ignored the negativity that was at your doorstep. But pile 3, you are not doing that. You're not suppressing the negativity. Sure, you have positive things about what you want to accomplish in your life, but you are immunizing yourself from greater negativity by embracing the little things that annoy you. And it might annoy everybody else, but in the long run, you're going to be the one who benefits, because you are not running from negativity. You're moving through it. You are transcending it, which means you are immunizing yourself against worst negativity later. That's exactly what you're doing, and it's working. It's working for you. It's working for you, and it's working for the community that you come from. But you just got to take it one step further. That's all. All you got to do is take it one step further and remember plan A. That's it. That's all you have to do. Focus more on the positivity than the negativity. Even though, again, you're already very positive. You're not wallowing in your own self-pity here. You're actually a very positive pile. But take it one step further and understand that a lot of the troubles that you had as a younger person or in the past, people are having discourses about it now. You no longer have to hold yourself hostage to a past that, quite frankly, you don't have to pay for anymore. You ain't got to pay for it. And especially if your actions have stemmed from you being unhealthy through no fault of your own. You don't have to hold on to that. You don't. You can accept the past as it is. You can accept previous failings as it is. Why? Because they made you the person that you are now. So instead of focusing too much on immunizing yourself, you're already immunized. You're already immunized. Now is the time to focus on what you actually want to experience, because you owe yourself that pile 3. You and your community owe yourself that. Go on holiday or something. Travel for the sake of it. Fuck around, have fun. Who cares? You owe it to yourself and your community. You owe it to each other. Fuck around, have fun. Do your thing. You owe it to yourselves to do that. Is that it? Yeah. Oh, hold on. Yeah, basically goes into what this says. Just turn your mind away from negativity into positivity. And again, you're already very positive, but just take it like a tiny step further. That's all. Okay. So that was for pile 3. That's your community. Yeah. Bunch of badasses is what you are. I'm here for it. So that was pile 3, and now we have pile 4. Okay, we've got pile 4. Now let's see what's in store for pile 4. Now this is very interesting. Okay, now first card is the Emperor. The second card is the Empress, which is creativity and abundance. And the third card is the 7 of Summer. I don't quite get the purpose of this card, if I'm honest. Like it's supposed to be, you picking something out of 7 objects with the 7 of Cups. Like, what am I supposed to do? Pick out 7 kittens? And they're all Maine Coons. What am I supposed to do with that? But yeah, pile 4. Let's have a look at you. So pile 4, you are 4. Not just organized, not just ordered. You are also highly individualistic, and you are proud of your individualism. 3 things. 1, you're very organized. 2, you're very individualistic, like I said before. But 3, you're also very realistic. You're not the type to get your head in the clouds. And this goes for... Hang on a second. I'm getting somewhere here. You're not the kind to have your head in the clouds, right? You may be surrounded by people who are just as organized as you, who are just as realistic as you, who are just as individualistic as you, but who are more creative, who are more nurturing, who are more imaginative, who are more beauty-centered. There are some of you who might even be in perfect balance and surrounded by a community of people who are either very, very organized and very ordered and very individualistic, or very creative and nurturing. There are some of you who are balanced in your energies and surrounded by people who are either one or the other. Okay? When it comes to this right here, it feels like either you or the community that you belong to are on the cusp of something. And where the indecision comes in is how to springboard what you're on the cusp of. There's a new idea that could promise to bring a lot of abundance, a lot of love into not only your life, but the life of the community that you belong to, right? The lives of the community that you belong to. And again, there's a variety of people in Power 4. Either you're the emperor, honest, orderly, kind of blunt, but ultimately like very rational and very realistic, or you could be creative, nurturing, but equally as intelligent and equally as well ordered, or you could be a balance of the two and surrounded by people who are represented by either polarity. So those are three types of people that belong in Power 4, right? And on top of that, both you and your community are on the cusp of either individual ideas that you guys are having. Actually, no, there's no either or. I feel like collectively you're on the cusp of something, but it's passive. It's a passive thing. It's more that a lot of you are on the cusp of individual actions at the same time, if that makes sense. You're on the cusp of something and you know you have something that you can use. You know you have something that is a perfect balance of this that you can use. It's just you're waiting for the right time to use it. You're waiting for the right time to get things started. That's what you're waiting for. There might be more physical considerations to take care of here though, because we've got this card, Stay Positive, which is expected, and we've got Clearing Debts as well. But let me look at the tarot cards a bit more closely because I haven't read them yet. So it says, Dear One, you're being called to action. That's for this card right here. Dear One, you're being called to action. You're ready to accomplish great things and truly come into the fullness of who you are. That's this card too. It's a time for great creativity, giving birth to beloved projects, or becoming a parent. Follow your passion so that abundance and prosperity manifest for you. So this is your passion, and this is the means towards making sure, you know, your dreams come true, right? Again, whichever of the three personalities that you belong to in this pile, again, you're waiting for the right time to drop, because you can sense it's coming. You don't know when it's going to be, but you can sense it's coming. You can feel it in here. The reason why you haven't proceeded forward yet is because you know it's not the right time. But once it is the right time, then it's go time. Okay? Now, I'm going to come back to the advisory decks right here. Okay? Dear Archangel Raphael, this is the Stay Positive card. Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for helping me be optimistic and take the appropriate action steps that support my health. And then we've got Clearing Debts. Your self-care involves removing the heavy burden of financial and emotional debts from your life. You already feel lighter and freer just by facing this topic and making a plan to clear present obligations and avoid future ones as well. Now, this is what I'm having trouble with when it comes to the psychic vision. Is it that your debts and you getting ready to drop these creative ideas are separate, or that your debts and you getting ready to drop these creative ideas are basically part and parcel of the same thing. I feel like they're part and parcel of the same thing, but not in the ways that we expect. What you need to prioritize, and again, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm just a tarot reader. It seems like what you need to prioritize are debts that are associated with this. Not the debts that are about like utility. Well, you need to pay your rent. You need to pay your rent. But like, not necessarily utilities. Like when it comes to things like utilities or any other living cost that you have, like set up an automatic payment and then focus your mind on your passions and clearing any debts or making investments towards this, because this is going to become important. Making financial investments, and not just you, but the community that you belong to as well. This is why you're waiting for the right time. It's because of the money stuff. Winter is coming. Winter is coming. So you need to prioritize. You need to have your priorities in order and prepare for the months ahead. And truth be told, this is a timeless reading. So winter might not even be like literal. It could be symbolic. But winter's coming, bitch. And you need to prioritize where you're going to spend your money and what you're going to spend it on. What is the most important thing to you? And during these months, because at the time of this reading, it's October, right? It's the 23rd of October at the time of reading this. During this time, it's tempting to just be like, I want to focus on heating, I want to focus on food, I want to focus on this, I want to focus on that. Spend money on things that you're going to remember. I can't believe I just said that. But spend money on things that you're going to remember. That is what must take priority. Because if you prioritize things that you're going to remember, you prioritize experiences, the abundance that can actually come from that, it could be a lot more than if you just focused on survival. Sometimes focusing on survival can be a trap towards you focusing on more of the same thing. I explained this with another pile. I'm not going to say which pile it is, but I explained this with another pile. Sometimes when you focus too much on survival, it can engender more of the same thing, survival. Focus on what you want to experience. That's where your passions come in. That's where you investing in your passions and investing in yourself comes in. And that is what will make it the right time for you to pursue your passions and gain abundance from it. Okay, let's see. There's something else I need to tell you guys about. Yeah. Set up an automatic payment for your debts. For any debts that are not revolved around your passion, set up automatic debt repayments. Do not focus on them too much. Focus on what you can pay. Do not over stress yourself with that. Focus on your passions. Because those, if you play your cards right, actually, when you play your cards right, those are going to be the things that pay the bills. And not just for you, for the community that you come from too. I tell you to be smart, but this time it's more of an emotional thing, pile 4. You got to prioritize your emotions. Yeah. So that's it for pile 4. Let me know if this resonated with you, what you got out of it. I'd love to hear from you. What I'm going to do now is I am going to do an overall reading for everyone, because within your 4 communities that I did the pick of cards for, again, it's important to focus on the most vulnerable people within those communities, the ones that are having trouble, the ones who might be struggling. It's important to give them a balanced amount of help when and where you can, because doing so, it doesn't just help them to fulfill their dreams, it also helps you to fulfill yours. Selflessness, especially in the month of October, is very, very important. Okay? So, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a reading for all 4 piles. And we're going to see how you can further build your communities and further help your communities, okay? So I'm going to work with this tarot deck right here. But I'm also going to work with this tarot deck, which is a little bit controversial given what we know about many of the public figures on these tarot cards. But let's go. Let's do this. How can all 4 piles help their communities? Oh, no, I'm getting it now. How can all 4 piles help the most vulnerable people in their communities? Okay. Oh, Justice. Interesting. Okay. How can all 4 piles help the most vulnerable in their communities? Okay. So, all 4 piles, and I'm not putting them into piles. This is a collective reading for all 4 piles here. So, how can you help the most vulnerable in your communities? Well, first of all, I got these 2 cards, which represents the question. Okay. And in this particular case, the answer is within the question, right? In order to focus on helping the most vulnerable people within your community, you have to turn your perspective upside down. You have to turn your perspective upside down in order to understand exactly how the ethical codes of your community are actually helping the vulnerable. How are your ethics, how are your unspoken rules helping the people who are most maligned and most vulnerable in those communities? Is it helping them? Is it hindering them? What is actually going on? We need to upend our perspective when it comes to the ethics of the communities that we come from. Yeah. And in doing so, we have a better understanding of what justice actually is and how we can actually help everyone in our community by helping the vulnerable. Okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because I've heard it said that justice is blind, right? And this card right here represents objectivity. It represents not being corrupted by what you're looking at. It doesn't just reflect indecision, it reflects objectivity and the need to make clear choices based on a complete lack of bias. And with this right here, I've got eccentric leaders. There are people within the community that, if given half a chance, could be excellent leaders. I feel like this is the way in which we can help the most vulnerable in our community. Finding the ones who you know would actually be good leaders. Finding the ones who have a plan for their lives, who actually know what they're doing. It's in this way that you can actually pay it forward, and you can actually make sure that people who are really, really down in the dumps, they get the help they need. because, you know, people from that subgroup within our communities are constantly being picked up and having a chance taken on them. It's important to focus on people who are the most vulnerable in our community that still have a plan for their lives and that can still look at their lives objectively long enough to be able to say, look, I'm not where I want to be right now and I want to be here. I just need some help from you along the way. So helping people in this way, it ensures that not only are you helping people that need it, you're also helping people that will take it somewhere. Therefore, you're not wasting your energy. You are actually adding your energy to something that will grow, that will bloom, that will flourish, right? So helping future leaders out of the most vulnerable people of your community, that's going to be important. Also, highlighting the strengths in the most vulnerable people in your community, but doing so through action rather than words. If you tell them, you know, you're incredibly intelligent at this, they're not going to believe you. They're not going to believe you. They're just going to say you're just saying that. Ask for their help in something that you know they're good at. Ask for their help in something that you know they're good at, or you can have them be interested in something that they're interested in, or have them do something that they're interested in. Something like that. Move their mind towards something positive and into something that they can actually do. Make them feel useful. Make them feel useful. That is the whole point of helping people. You make them feel useful. A lot of people don't want handouts like that. A lot of people don't want handouts like that because they don't appreciate, like anybody can say this, we don't appreciate free things when we get them. You can say that for every single facet of life. People don't need help despising a free lunch because they usually do. And they demonstrate it every day. Okay? But if you actually show people where you know their strengths are, you say, oh, help me with this, help me with this, help me with this. And then you give them a gift to show that you appreciate what they've done, or, you know, you write something up. I don't know. Just have a way for them to utilize their strengths. And then when they've done so, find a way to show them that you appreciate what they've done. It will keep them on that. It will keep them on that treadmill. They'll get off the wagon and get back on, but it will keep them on that wagon. It will keep them on that wagon for the most part. Okay? So find out what their strengths are and get them to help you out in whatever their strengths are. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And you remind them of their usefulness, because people want to feel useful. Okay? Now with this, we've got the World card and we've got the Page of Wands, right? Now that you've made them feel useful and you've helped them understand what their strengths are, now the way to handle this is to teach them what you are an expert in. But it has to be something that complements what they're good at. It has to be something that complements what they do. So instead of just saying, maybe you should exercise, find out what they're interested in and find out workout plans, you know, that actually interest them. Let's say that you're a personal trainer and this person is, I don't know, a banker or something, and they have long hours of sitting down. You as a personal trainer could put them onto stretching exercises, or you could put them onto CrossFit, something that gets the blood pumping, something that helps them keep their energy up. You can get them involved in HIIT, HIIT training, something like that. So whatever your expertise is, when you're dealing with the vulnerable person, a banker's not vulnerable, that's a bad example. But if you're dealing with the vulnerable person, once you started with their strengths, once you see what it is that they truly need to get on their feet or to become a stronger person, this is where you incorporate your knowledge into the equation, but you do it in a way that interests them. You help them out in a way that boosts their strengths, right? In doing so, you actually boost your own strengths in the process, right? And then they learn something. And once they learn something, they feel confident enough to act on whatever ideas they have, whether that's just applying for jobs or starting a business or anything, right? You take your strengths and use it to complement theirs, so that that can further fuel their feeling of usefulness in the world, right? So that's another way. That's the third way of helping out people in your community who are most vulnerable. All right. And the final one is very interesting. It's the 7 of Cups and it's the 7 of Wands. Interesting. Because this talks about a person's dreams and daydreams. And this talks about defending yourself in the world. Defending yourself against all comers, against anyone who would threaten to dismantle what you have. The number 7 is the number of victory. It's the number of wisdom. It's the number of active intellect. So, sorry, I had this card upside down. It's not meant to be upside down. So the fourth way in which you help out the most vulnerable people in your community is that you help them to defend themselves, right? You look after them. You make sure they're all right emotionally. You provide emotional support for them. But you fill them with the strength that they need to defend themselves. And when their backs are up against the wall and they're physically harmed, step in, right? Also, help them to realize their dreams. When they feel like life isn't going the way that they want it to be, remind them of what their dreams are. Remind them of what they're here for. Remind them of what their strengths are. Remind them of what they're good for. Remind them that they have options in life and that they don't have to accept being unhappy if they don't want to. So defense and reminding them of their dreams and their goals and their aspirations. What I'm about to say is going to sound very strange, but I want you to bear with me, walk with me here, right? It's also important that you have boundaries emotionally and in your soul. Make it so that there are things that you are not prepared to do and that you are not prepared to tolerate. Because once you have boundaries, as much as it seems like you're being mean to vulnerable people, to have boundaries of your own or what you're not prepared to deal with, you're actually not being mean. You're helping them and yourself. So once you have certain behaviors that you're not prepared to deal with, certain boundaries that you're not prepared to have crossed, that's it. Do you understand? You're helping yourself and them. It gives them the confidence to stand on their own 2 feet and have boundaries of their own as well. So you're helping yourself and them. Okay? I think that's it. So that's how you can help the most vulnerable in your community. I know it sounds very, very strange, a lot of it, but hopefully it makes sense. I have been Empress Justice. This has been a pick a card reading for which community do you belong to, or who are your people, is basically what this pick a card reading is. I'm sure I'll think of the title when I upload this video. Anyway, peace and blessings. I love you guys so much. Bye bye, my darlings.